4 ways kindness can secretly ruin your life and how Stoicism can save it. Have you ever been the dependable one? The person who gets the 2 a.m. phone call, the last minute favor, the I know you're busy, but message? You step in, you fix the problem, and people thank you. Sometimes sincerely, sometimes just enough to move on with their lives. It feels noble until it doesn't. One day, you reach for your own reserves, emotional, physical, even financial, and find them bone dry. You realize you've been pouring from an empty cup for months, maybe years. That's when it hits. Your kindness, the very thing you were proud of, has been slowly eroding your life. Not because kindness is wrong, but because unbounded kindness can be dangerous. This isn't about becoming selfish. It's about learning, as the Stoics did, to protect your inner resources so your kindness remains a gift, not a burden. Why Stoicism has something to say. 2,000 years ago, Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus were already wrestling with the balance between serving others and preserving themselves. Their world didn't have smartphones or instant messaging, but human nature hasn't changed. People still leaned on the reliable, and reliable people still faced burnout. Stoicism doesn't tell us to stop caring, it teaches us to care wisely. It's not about walling yourself off, it's about knowing when to say no, how to guard your mental energy, and why sustainable kindness benefits everyone. The illusion of the endless well. Modern culture romanticizes selflessness. Movies celebrate the tireless friend who's always there. Social media glorifies the hustle of serving others, and corporate environments quietly reward overcommitment until the person collapses. But here's the reality. No well is infinite. Even the purest spring runs dry without rain. You can love people fiercely, but if you give without replenishment, you'll eventually resent them and yourself. That resentment can creep in silently, poisoning the relationships your kindness was meant to protect. Lesson 1. Tend to your garden first. The garden metaphor from the original Stoic teaching is timeless. Imagine 2 neighbors. Neighbor A spends time each morning watering, pruning, and fertilizing their own garden. It thrives. They have vegetables and flowers to share freely. Neighbor B spends mornings racing to help others weed and water, neglecting their own patch. Soon their plants wither, the soil dries, and they have nothing left to give. This isn't a call to ignore others. It's a reminder that you can't contribute meaningfully if your own life is in disarray. Modern example, think of a nurse who works double shifts to help colleagues, but never sleeps or eats properly. The intention is generous, the effect is dangerous. Eventually, exhaustion leads to mistakes that hurt both her and her patients. Kindness without self-care is a slow poison. Marcus Aurelius put it bluntly, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Applied to kindness, this means if giving will destroy your health or integrity, it isn't right, even if it feels good in the moment. This is where the selfishness paradox appears. Protecting your own well-being actually makes you more valuable to others in the long run. You're healthier, clearer-minded, and emotionally available, not just a drained, irritable shell. The problem of hidden expectations. Seneca warned against generosity that's really just a transaction in disguise. If you help someone secretly hoping they'll help you later, you're not practicing virtue, you're trading. The trouble is, we often don't realize we're keeping mental score until disappointment hits. You give rides, lend money, or cover shifts, and when you finally ask for help, you're met with silence. The sting isn't just from the refusal, it's from realizing you expected repayment all along. Stoicism offers a cure: give without attachment to the outcome. But to do this without burning out, you must choose carefully when and how to give. Lesson 2. Saying no is a Stoic skill. In our hyperconnected age, saying no feels almost taboo. Declining an invitation, you're antisocial. Refusing a project, you're not a team player. But Stoicism reframes no as an act of self-respect. Epictetus reminds us, we cannot control the impressions others form about us, and the effort to do so only debases our character. In other words, people might call you selfish when you set boundaries. That's outside your control. Your task is to act in harmony with your principles, not with everyone's opinions. Personal reflection. My no turning point. A few years ago, I was the yes person at work. Cover someone's meeting? Yes. Take on an urgent report over the weekend? Yes. My reputation soared and my sleep tanked. The turning point came when I missed an important family event because I'd agreed to yet another last-minute request. No one thanked me. Worse, no one even remembered I'd done it. That's when I realized my constant yes wasn't kindness. It was a refusal to protect my own life. From that week forward, I started saying, "Let me think about it," and often the answer became no. Boundaries aren't walls. One of the biggest misconceptions is that boundaries push people away. In reality, they create a clear, safe space for relationships to thrive. Without them, resentment festers. Think of a friend who always asks for favors. At first, you agree happily, but over time, you begin to dread their messages. Eventually, you avoid them. Not because you dislike them, but because you're protecting yourself from overcommitment. By setting boundaries early, I can help you on weekends, but not during workdays. You prevent the slow erosion of goodwill. Lesson 3. Don't rob others of growth. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes our kindness is just disguised control. We swoop in to solve problems before others can try, believing we're helping, but in reality, we're depriving them of the chance to struggle, fail, and grow. The mother-daughter story illustrates this. The mother's constant protection left the daughter unprepared for real life. Only when forced to fend for herself did she begin to develop resilience. Stoicism would call this enabling dependency, not helping. The truly kind choice may be to step back, even if it means watching someone flounder. The golden mean, Aristotle's balance. Aristotle wasn't a Stoic, but his concept of the golden mean aligns beautifully. Virtue lies between deficiency and excess. Applied here, the extremes are too little kindness, coldness, neglect; too much kindness, self-destruction, enabling. The golden mean is sustainable kindness, enough to support others, but not so much that you harm yourself or prevent their growth. Modern pressure to overgive. Social media has turned generosity into performance. We post our good deeds, chase likes, and compare our impact to others. But as Jung would say, this is persona, the mask we wear for the world. True kindness, according to Stoicism, doesn't need an audience. It's done quietly, from abundance, without seeking applause. The moment you're giving becomes a performance, it's about you, not the other person. And that shift is corrosive over time. Self-integration and generosity. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, becoming your whole, authentic self. For generosity to be part of that wholeness, it must be aligned with your true capacity and values. If you're giving out of guilt, fear of rejection, or a desire to control, it's not integrated, it's compensation. The Stoic approach asks, am I giving from my highest self or from my anxiety about how I'll be seen? That's the difference between kindness that nourishes and kindness that drains. Creating your Stoic filter for giving. One of the most powerful ways to preserve kindness is to run every request, big or small, through a Stoic filter before saying yes. This filter is built from 3 questions. Is this within my control? Epictetus would insist, if the situation's outcome depends entirely on another person's actions or circumstances, your help may not change the result. Don't sacrifice your energy for something you cannot influence. Can I do this without harming my own well-being? Marcus Aurelius believed that caring for the self was a prerequisite to caring for others. If the cost of helping is severe, exhaustion, missed commitments, or neglect of your responsibilities, the Stoic choice may be to decline. Am I giving for the right reason? Seneca reminds us, generosity is a virtue when it is done without hidden agendas or emotional bargaining. If you're saying yes to avoid conflict, earn approval, or quiet guilt, you may be feeding ego rather than offering true kindness. The psychological trap of always being available. People who are always there for others often find themselves trapped in a subtle but exhausting cycle. Step 1, someone makes a request. They assume you'll say yes. Step 2, you say yes to maintain your identity as the dependable one. Step 3, your willingness invites more requests, often from the same people. Step 4, the absence of boundaries leads others to see your help as an entitlement, not a gift. The worst part, over time, the gratitude disappears. Your kindness becomes invisible, expected, and eventually undervalued. Breaking the cycle. To break free, you must change the pattern of interaction, and that means accepting short-term discomfort for long-term respect. When you first start saying no, some people will be surprised, even annoyed, but those who truly value you will adapt. The rest may drift away. That's not a loss. It's a filter revealing who was in your life for genuine connection and who was there for convenience. Lesson 4. Boundaries are a gift to others. Here's an overlooked truth. Your boundaries don't just protect you, they help others develop self-reliance. Think of a friend who constantly calls you to solve work problems. If you stop rushing in with answers, they might struggle at first, but eventually they'll either learn to solve issues themselves or seek guidance elsewhere, both of which build their resilience. Stoicism doesn't just encourage personal virtue, it fosters it in the community. By maintaining your own integrity, you invite others to strengthen theirs. The ripple effect of sustainable kindness. When you practice kindness with boundaries, a ripple effect begins. People respect your time because you've taught them how to. Your generosity feels fresh and intentional, not automatic or resentful. Your relationships deepen because interactions are based on mutual respect, not silent obligation. I've seen this in my own life. After I began declining certain requests, my friendships became more honest. People reached out not just when they needed something, but to connect, to share good news, or to spend time with no hidden ask in the background. Reframing no as an invitation. It's worth reframing the word no. In Stoic terms, a no is not rejection, it's redirection. You are telling someone, I can't give you this, but I trust you enough to find another way. By not stepping in, you leave room for the other person's creativity, responsibility, and growth. Sometimes the absence of your help is the exact challenge they need to rise higher. The inner peace dividend. There's a hidden benefit to setting limits. Your inner peace grows. When you say yes out of obligation, your mind stays restless, replaying the cost of that decision. But when your choices are deliberate and aligned with your values, your mind is calm. Marcus Aurelius would call this living in accordance with nature, not in the sense of forests and rivers, but in harmony with your own nature, your energy levels, your priorities, your purpose. Practical Stoic plan for preserving energy. Let's make this actionable. Here's a 5-step Stoic plan to keep kindness sustainable. Audit your commitments. Write down everything you've said yes to in the past month. Highlight the ones that drained you versus those that energized you. This gives a clear picture of where your kindness is costly versus nourishing. Identify your core values. Decide which causes, people, or principles you want to prioritize. Stoics valued living according to their ideals, not scattering energy in all directions. Create boundary scripts. Practice phrases like, I can't commit to this right now. That's not something I can take on, but I hope it works out well. I'd love to help, but I need to focus on my current priorities. Schedule time for your garden. Just as you would water plants daily, block time for your own health, rest, and personal growth. Treat these as non-negotiable appointments. Review and adjust monthly life changes. So should your boundaries. Reassess what's working and refine as needed. From martyrdom to empowerment. Many of us were taught that the good person sacrifices endlessly, but Stoicism challenges that. Endless sacrifice without wisdom is not virtue, it's recklessness. The Stoic path transforms martyrdom into empowerment. You still serve, but from a place of strength, not depletion. You're present because you choose to be, not because you're trapped in an identity that demands constant giving. Guarding against the ego of the giver. There's another subtle trap, the ego of the giver. It's the quiet pride in being the one who saves the day. The problem? That identity can become addictive. You start accepting requests not because it's right, but because it reinforces your self-image. Seneca would warn that this is not virtue. It's vanity wearing kindness as a mask. The way out is humility, remembering that your worth is not tied to how much you give, but to the integrity with which you live. Real-life application. Workplace. In the workplace, sustainable kindness might look like helping a colleague troubleshoot a problem, but not redoing their entire project, offering mentorship to new hires, but setting limits on availability to avoid burnout, speaking up when workloads become uneven, rather than silently absorbing the excess. When done with clarity, this not only protects you, but sets a cultural example that boundaries are compatible with teamwork. Real-life application. Family. With family, boundaries are even trickier because the emotional stakes are higher, but the Stoic approach holds you are still an individual with finite energy. Supporting a sibling in crisis doesn't mean taking over their responsibilities entirely. Caring for elderly parents doesn't mean abandoning your own health. Stoicism reminds us that to truly be present for loved ones, you must first be well yourself. Stoicism offers a profound redefinition of kindness. It is not the absence of boundaries, but the presence of wise ones. True kindness strengthens both giver and receiver, flows from abundance, not exhaustion, honors the giver's integrity and the receiver's autonomy. By tending to your own garden first, you ensure that what you share is fresh, nourishing, and given freely. You stop pouring from an empty cup and start offering from a full one. If you recognize yourself as the yes person, I invite you, starting today, to choose one request to decline. Watch how it feels. Notice who respects it and who resists. That observation alone will teach you volumes about your relationships. Kindness will not ruin your life if it is guided by wisdom. And wisdom, as the Stoics knew, begins with knowing yourself, valuing your own time, and giving from strength. Because the most powerful gift you can offer the world is a healthy, whole version of yourself.